Get paid Friday and broke by Monday. I know what that's like. For a long time in my life, I was in a position where I'm looking at everything. I'm holding my pockets. I'm looking at gas prices. I'm looking at stuff at the grocery store and deciding if I want to put that in my cart. And it wasn't until I had originally reached financial freedom and I went back to lack that I realized what it took to go from lack to overflow. And I realized what the real difference was. 'Cause my whole life coming up, nothing was made for me. You know what I'm saying? I grew up broke. I'm from the trenches. I never had the luxury in life. I never had the things that made life better or made things easier for me. And I never really felt like I needed nothing. When I first started making money, when I first started touching a little bit of money, I used to be very, very conservative with it. I wasn't spending because, I had that scarcity mindset. Once I finally touched the money, I'm like, ain't no way I'm gonna go broke again. And it got to a point in my life where I touched so much money and I actually did go broke again. And a lot of people won't get on here and admit that, but that's just what comes with it. And I'm blessed to say that, all glory to God, that I was able to come back from that. I was able to shake back from that. And I'm a walking testimony of that. So that's why I'm here today, to give y'all a little bit of words, give y'all a little bit of motivation, and more important, give y'all a little bit of direction, because motivation ain't nothing, but direction matched with initiative is going to really take you to the next level. So I hope that I could reach somebody today and just let you know you're not alone. I've been there before. I went up and went back down, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a walking testimony of that. So yeah, I'm here to tell y'all today kind of what it took for me to initially go from lack to overflow. And then once I went back to lack, how I went back to overflow. When I first started making money, I ran it up. And I thought I was doing the right thing. I got around a mentor. I thought they were gonna help me. I thought they were gonna direct me in the right path. I dished out pretty much all the money I ran up. I was only in the credit game for a couple months. It was really my last. I put in my last, and I learned from that. I'm always willing to invest, but I never want to get down to my last unless I have to. If I have to, I got to. But what I do to try to make sure I don't get to my last is keep grinding, because when I was at my last and I thought I was making a good decision to put me into a season of overflow, that's when everything went wrong for me. That's when everything went down. I had to put in all the work to run it back up. The first mistake I made was putting my trust in a person and not in God. A lot of y'all look to people for guidance or look to people to save you, and no one's going to save you, especially if you're a man. No man is saving you. It's great to invest into knowledge or invest into resources with certain people, if they're a good source. If you can really trust their word and what they're saying, but you have to also understand that God has a plan for you. So be educated. I'm not saying don't invest into mentorship, or I'm not saying it's all a scam. A lot of the stuff I learned was from mentorship, but I also done been finessed badly. The mentor that I thought I had, they were really trying to take me out the game. I didn't even know. I thought they were trying to put me on game. I looked at this mentor like they were so much better than me when it came to this business. And not better than me because I don't have potential, better than me because of the numbers. I thought they had so many more clients. I thought they had so much more clout to where the game was easy for them. It was easy for them to sell credit. I didn't think they would want to take me out the game, but I didn't even know God was blessing me at that time. I'm so sitting here worried about more. I'm already in a season of overflow. I'm already making money, and I'm sitting here asking for more. I wasn't grateful for what I had. And not saying that you can't invest into more and you can't want more, but I was so ungrateful to the point where I risked my principles and my basic rules of finances in order to get more. That's greed at that point, especially if you're already in the season of overflow. So don't think that can't be you. Some of y'all might say, oh, that won't be me. If you're already in that season right now in your life with the little bit of money that you can manage, imagine when you get more. You might say, oh, well, I won't do that. You won't do it if you unlearn those traumas. You won't do it if you apply these things to life. Long story short, I got finesse, That might be a different story for a different time, but, I lost pretty much all of it. All of the savings I had at the time. At a young age, gone, finessed. Not even giving back in any type of way. I thought I was getting a business-to-business mentorship. I thought this person was going to come into my business and help me every single place I lack and give me all their resources. And it got to the point where I sent them that wire and they just started going ghost. They started holding nuts on me. I do business funding, as some of y'all know, and at the time I didn't have a relationship manager. I didn't have somebody who could plug me in and my clients with the high limits and stuff like that, high limit credit cards and business loans. I didn't have someone that could connect me with that. So this guy told me, hey, you give me this money, I'm gonna turn you up. My relationship managers are yours. My systems are yours. I'm like, okay. Like I said, he went ghost. He stopped giving me guidance. He started going against me. And it's a way deeper story than that. He almost really took me out the industry. He almost really took me out the game. And I bounced back from that. At that time when he did what he did to take me out the game, I'm sitting here praying to God. I'm like, God, please, get me out this lacking mindset. I may be in a season of scarcity right now. I might be in a season of survival right now, Lord, but just please let me get back to that moment in my life where everything is smooth again. Please give me the chance again to get abundance in my life, and I would do well with it. I won't spend it in the clubs no more. I won't spend it on designer clothes no more. I won't spend it on jewelry no more. After that, I was done. I was like, all I need is investments. All I need is to live freely. And it was to a point where I thought I was out of business. My business had died down for a quick minute, all because of the damages that this person did, you know? And it was hard. But what I did was I put my trust in God. I stuck to my principles, my routine. I had an overflow mindset even when I was lacking. Even when I was down, I tried to be up. I motivated myself every day. Right now it's 6:30 a.m. I've been up since 4. I've been doing it since then. Since that day when I was in that lack season of my life, when I was struggling. I'm like, am I gonna sit here and keep letting it eat me up? Am I gonna keep being depressed that I don't have overflow? Or am I gonna go make some overflow for myself? Am I gonna sit here and wait until it falls in my lap for me to have faith in a God and be like, oh, thank you, God, you just need to show me something? Or am I gonna do it without him showing me? Am I gonna do it with the only intention to get overflow, or am I gonna do it to align my relationship with God and my morals in general, to live a better quality of life, to have a better eternal life? And then everything else follows. What's your motive? That's when I locked in more heavy with church. I was already going to church prior to that time, but at that time I needed God the most. I started going twice a week. I started getting in the word more. I started praying more. And I'm not a preacher. I don't want to just push God on y'all. I don't want to confuse y'all with that, you know? But I am a man of God. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I don't mess up sometimes. I'm not saying that I don't still fall into these things, because every day as a human being, you consistently going through that battle. It doesn't matter what level of success you get to. I'm not going to be one of these people on this internet that's going to sit here and lie to you and act like, oh, once you reach certain pinnacles in life, you don't struggle. You struggle more. You get challenged more. You ever heard the phrase, more money, more problems? That's true. That's true. I got salary every single week coming out my pocket. Every single Friday, I got to pay my employee salary. That's on top of bills. That's on top of stress. You know? That's just one example of more money, more problems. It don't stop. Even outside the salary, you have refunds. You have small issues. You have money you invest into. I done invested so much money into my systems in the business. I done invested $20K plus in the systems that I didn't even use because lack of knowledge and stuff like that. So I just want y'all to understand that even once you get to these levels, it's a constant battle. I always use these visual representations, but the journey on the way up don't look like this. It look like this. It look like a stock chart. It still go in an up direction, but you're going to constantly keep going back down until you go up. And how you deal with those valleys is going to determine how much quicker you level up to those mountaintops. And even once you reach a mountaintop and you get brought back down to a valley, what you do right there is going to continue. If you continue to just go down and deeper and deeper and deeper until you fall, or if you're going to get yourself right back up and elevate. And it sounds like I'm saying it like it's so easy, and some of y'all are sitting here getting overwhelmed and anxious about, oh, it's not that easy. It's that easy. I'm a walking testimony. Y'all don't even know my full story yet. I haven't even sat down and talked about me, because this channel ain't about me. Yeah, this is me, this is my channel, and one day I would love for y'all to get to know me, but realistically, this is about y'all. This is about me giving. That's what I use this platform for. I want to give. I want to give y'all what wasn't there for me when I needed it. I want to give y'all what I know a lot of other people aren't giving, because this is real. A lot of people is living this reality. A lot of people is in a type of instance like I was saying, or worse or better. But a lot of people dealing with this. A lot of people struggling with this. And I want to show y'all that there is a way to change. There is a different path you could go. It's never too late, but time is ticking. You know? So make those changes you need to make. Get your routine right. All of that. I can sit here all day and tell you the things that follow. Wake up at 4 a.m., but none of that matters if you ain't aligned with God. And everything after that follows. In my other videos, I'm talking about a lot of different ways you can reach success. So they all add up. But like I said, the way you live life and your mindset are the two most powerful things, because they reflect on each other. Your mindset determines the way that you live life. Some of y'all might be in that season right now where, like I said, you get paid Friday, you broke by Monday, you in the grocery store, you putting stuff back, you cutting off the gas once it hit $20. Like, I done been there before, and I want y'all to understand that God has a plan for you. I'm never here to try to push my religion on somebody, or I'm never here to disrespect any other religion. I respect all religions, but my truth and the only truth that I know is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So I'm always going to preach that. If you believe in something else, that's fine, but understand that if you are a Christian, that's who I'm speaking to. If you're a follower of Christ, I'm speaking to you. Even if you're lukewarm, I was there before too. My whole life I was lukewarm. I was never really going to church. I was never in the Word. I wasn't living, the most Christian lifestyle, and I fell on my back a lot of times for that. I got put on my back a lot of times for that. I was constantly getting humbled. I was wondering why I was so anxious. I was wondering why I was so confused. I was wondering why I kept lacking everything and why I wasn't having this abundant lifestyle that I desired. I was wondering why I felt like I was putting in all the work, but I wasn't getting nowhere. I was wondering why I felt like I was becoming a product of my environment, and I was going to just end up being like everybody else around me, and I was going to end up in the streets, or I was going to end up in jail, or I was going to end up, deceased like everybody else where I come from. So it's really just like, once I got a relationship with God and I understand how he wanted me to live, and I understand how he wanted me to fulfill my purpose, that's when everything changed for me. And it's a process. This video is titled How to Go From Lack to Overflow, not how to go from lack to overflow in 10 days, not how to go from lack to overflow fast. Stop letting people get y'all with that clickbait. I see that on YouTube, or all this, instant dopamine that people give you of, if you watching this means you're gonna be rich. No, it doesn't. This video doesn't even mean that you're gonna go from lack to overflow. All this video means that if you listen to the things I'm saying and you apply them to life in due time, in consistency, in continuing to have faith, you'll see the changes, for sure. It happened to me, it's happened to the people around me, and it's the same formula that everybody uses. It's belief, having belief in change, belief in better, belief in, more importantly, Lord Savior Jesus Christ, right? Once you believe in God and you know that he has a plan for you, you know that eventually you will no longer lack. And I talk about this in every single video about Christians just feeling like, oh, I can just trust in God, just trust in God. Don't be misled that this is the only step. Watch the rest of the video and see how many other things I'm going to uncover that you should be doing. But understand that that's the first step, right? Because if you don't got God, you ain't got nothing. If your life ain't aligned with Christ, your life ain't aligned. And that's just something that took me a long time to understand. And I hope that I could reach out today when I'm saying that, because once you change that, everything else will change. Once you start practicing a more Christian way of life, you're going to start seeing a lot of your habits are going to align with that. And with Christians, it says in the Bible, we're going to be abundant. We're going to be blessed. One verse that kept me up when I was down was Luke 16, verse 10. Bible says, whoever is faithful with little will be trusted with a lot. And that means so many things, right? I interpret that, in two different scenarios to my life. If I'm faithful with a little, if I'm faithful to God and I stay on the right path, even when I got a little bit of money, even when my pockets is pinching a penny and I feel like man, I might have to go do this or go do something crazy, that's not aligning with Christ in order for me to get this money. I done been there before, especially coming in from the environment I've been from. It's so easy to get attracted to this fast money and be like, oh, I want to do this because you see everybody else doing it. But remain faithful in those times. Don't do those things that you're not supposed to be doing. Don't do something that's going to put you in a bad situation. Don't do something that's not aligning with God's message and God's kingdom. And that's the first step. Whoever is faithful with little, when you're faithful when you have a little, you'll be trusted with a lot. Meaning, stay down till you come up. In simple terms, that's what it means. If you stay down and you stay faithful while you have a little, and once you come up, you'll come up. You'll be abundant. Your life will be abundant. And then I also look at it from a financial aspect. When you're thinking of money, when you're thinking of be faithful with a little. When you get a little bit of money, don't go blow it. Don't go spend it on things that don't serve God. Put it up for a rainy day. Invest it. Donate it. Give back. That's one of the most efficient ways to pour abundance into your life. I say it all the time, the phrase, be a fountain, not a drain. And I say that a lot because so many people are drains. What does a drain do? It sucks the value out of things. What does a fountain do? It pours out. It pours out water. It makes people abundant with overflow. That's what a fountain does. Be a fountain. And don't do it for the purpose of just off of the law of attraction or just off of what it says in the Bible about giving to others and God giving back to you and tithing and things like that. Do it out of the kindness of your heart. That's why I put the number one thing is faith, to get right with God, to trust in God. And it's going to get to a point where you're giving just to give. You're not giving with the intention of, okay, if I give, I'm going to receive, even if it's later in a different form. You're not giving for that. Because when you're walking with Christ and you're living a Christian life, you give just because you want to give. And in reality, the way that it works, the way that God blesses us, and the way the law of attraction works, is going to come back to you. But don't do it just for the result of it coming back to you, because it has an ill intention. But that's why I say that this is a process. This is not a get rich quick thing. This is not a get abundant quick thing. This is not a get overflow quick type of thing. There's no such thing as quick. Everything is on God's timing. So the sooner you get right with Him, that's the sooner that He'll be able to guide you in that direction for the plan that He has for you. Honor what you already have. Kind of goes hand in hand with Luke 16 verse 10, right? Be grateful for what you have. So many people when they're in survival mode, they're so stressed out because they feel like they have so little, but look at what you do have. If you have another day to live, you have another day to survive. You have another day to grow. And you might not want to be in survival mode for forever, but take the steps you need to take. Have the patience you need to have, and put the trust in God that you need to put in, and just be grateful. Express gratitude. Some people didn't even wake up today. Some people can't even eat today. You might be stressed out because you spent your last dollar on food, but you ate. You might be stressed out because you late on the bills, but you paid them, even though you paid them late. Some people ain't paying them at all. The lights cut off, the water cut off. That's the reality. So express gratitude. Be grateful for what you have, and God will give you more. If you're ungrateful with the little that you feel like you have, with the lack of abundance that you think you have, why would He give you more? Separate what's normal from what's right. Oftentimes in these environments that we grow up in, these low income environments, these low vibrational environments, we get taught so many things. And we're around so much stuff to where paycheck to paycheck is normal. Being broke is normal. Not having abundance is normal. Being negative is normal. And that's not normal. It might be normal to where you come from. It might be normal to your background. But it's not right. That's not the right way to live. That's not the way that God tells us to live. That's not the way that we should be living if we're following the law of attraction and all of those type of things, if we want to attract the proper things to us. So unlearn what's normal and learn what's right. A lot of people, they feel like they have to be stuck in their reality, whether they got out of old situations and environments and they carried the traumas with them, or they're still in them and they feel stuck. They feel mentally stuck. They might feel physically stuck. They might feel physically and mentally stuck. But understand that you have the control, you have the power. And it starts with the things that I'm saying now. It might not be quick. It might not be on your timeline. The only person who can push that timeline is God. The only person who makes that timeline, is in control of that timeline, is God. But do the things you need to do. Get in the mindset you need to get to, so when the abundance comes to you, when the overflow comes to you, you're ready to receive it. You already got rid of all your old habits. You ain't overspending when the money coming in. You already know a little bit about investing and holding on to some stuff when you get some money, so you can make it make you money. And you can continue to have overflow. Not just have a small period of overflow. Go from being a hustler to being a builder. Our culture always pushes hustle. I don't understand that. It does take hustle. I'm not going to say it doesn't. But why do you continue to live your life in hustle? Hustle so you don't have to hustle no more. People like to hustle in increments of time. They like to work, relax. Work, relax. Work, relax. That's not how it works. You work again, and then you relax. That's how you go from lack to overflow. People that lack, they do the first thing. People that overflow do the second thing. Because once you understand how valuable your time is and how little time you really have on this earth, you start to cherish it more. You start to understand that it could better go into different places. You start to understand that you could better fulfill your life in the things that you desire. And you can live the way that you want to live. And you can achieve the things that you want to achieve. And you can be as free as you want to be. It says we should be free. We should live a free and abundant life. So why wouldn't you want that for yourself? Stop telling yourself you're not worthy. Stop telling yourself you're not capable. You are. And don't leave this video with that false dopamine of, oh yeah, he motivated me and I know I'm gonna get there one day. That's fine if it has that effect on you, but it should have that effect plus the drive. It should turn you up to, once you get off this video, get off of YouTube. Once you get off this video, get off your phone and go do the things that you need to do. Stop continuing to be in lack. It's not going to come instant. It's not going to be fast. It's going to take grind. It's going to take challenge. But eventually it's going to get to a point. Do everything the right way. Stop working backwards. Stop working against yourself and watch your whole life flourish in front of you. Like I said, if I can do it, y'all can do it too, man. I only been on this earth for 24 years. And I'm blessed. I had a blessed 24 years. I'm blessed to say that. But I tell y'all, in them 24 years, I done went through hell. I done went through a lot because I wasn't living right. And I still continue to go through things. Once you change, once you take that step in the next direction, it ain't gonna ever stop. But the mindset is different now, right? And mindset and action align immediately. I deal with things differently now. I don't crash out no more. I don't break down and run around and scramble and try to figure something out and make all these mistakes in the process. I sit here and I pray. And I trust in God. And then I stick to my morals and I think, okay, why would I be stressing right now? Do I have control over this? Yes or no? If I don't, leave it alone. If I do, control it. Doesn't matter what, control it. Or find a way to make it more smooth. Find a way to be able to put up with it.